The International Donor Coordination Center is located in Stuttgart, Germany, headquarters of European Command. The purpose is to field Ukraine's requests for weapons and get them from where they are to where they need to be. Jack Detsch is Foreign Policy's Pentagon and National Security reporter. Jack, welcome to the program.
Mimi, thanks for having me.
So start by describing the coordination center and the people that are there.
So Mimi, this is a lot like a high school basketball gymnasium that's been converted into a classroom, only instead of students, you have troops from over 30 different countries basically sitting there clicking away at their computers, kind of a startup-like environment. And basically they're planning and plotting almost every Western dollar that's going into Ukraine. This is a very interesting process by which if a donor from any country in the West wants to go out and deliver aid to Ukraine, this group will sort of find out how to get it there through the logistical ways. If it's a bigger piece of equipment, like an Su-25 Frogfoot Soviet aircraft, they can help disassemble it downrange and then help the Ukrainians get it into the country. So this is very much a major coordination cell for a lot of the things that we're seeing going in. And the thing that's interesting is that it's real time. There are Ukrainians there in the facility, basically talking to some of the folks on the front lines in the Donbass and then relaying those messages to the American and British officials inside the room to make sure they can get every dollar and every bullet as quickly as possible.
And how is that process working? I mean, has it been streamlined? Is it to the point that, you know, a Ukrainian commander can essentially call in or make a request for specific weapons, and then it actually gets to where it actually needs to be?
It's been much more streamlined over the past couple of months. Originally, these were two separate cells, the Americans and the Brits working separately, but side by side in Stuttgart. And once they kind of found out that they were sort of duplicating their efforts, they began to join forces and do this multinational effort. So now at the secret level, they're able to coordinate in this high school level gymnasium. And certainly for the Ukrainians who are in a major gunfight in the Donbass, as American officials have explained, they're able to relay much more quickly their requests for ammunition, for any sort of thing that they might need, tanks and fighter aircraft. It's not clear that everything they're going to ask for, they're going to get. We still see some restrictions on Western aid. Of course, the fighter jets the Ukrainians have wanted, both MiGs and upgraded American aircraft, are not going forward. But certainly this is a mechanism that helps things move much more quickly. And it's backlogged with a software system that allows the Ukrainians to drop in their requests and for other countries to immediately pick those up and figure out the logistics there in Stuttgart.
So there's essentially an app for that, right? I mean, is it actually, you know, that it's streamlined to the point that they can actually make requests that way?
That's right. There is an app for that. It has a Ukrainian name that I can't pronounce, unfortunately, but it was set up by the British military, the 104th Theater Sustainment Brigade, that is all over that room. That they have sort of a wolf-like flag they've adorned in the room. And yeah, basically it's sort of a drag and drop system where the Ukrainians, I'm told, can click in, can say what they want, if they need ammunition, if they need more weapons, if they need more small arms. Countries that are interested in sourcing that in Eastern Europe and Western Europe then can look at those requests. If they have extra weapons, they can bring them in. So in one instance, one Western European country had rifles that the Ukrainians wanted. They just didn't have the sights and ammunition for them. So because of that system, they were able to coordinate with other Western European and Eastern European countries to get those weapons out of storage facilities, put sights on them, put ammunition in them, and send them to the front lines. So this really helps speed up the process.
Do you have an idea, Jack, of how long it takes from request to actual delivery?
No, it's a good question. Of course, things can still get in within 48 hours of being approved, but this is sort of the backlog process. So you're looking at probably a few days at least, depending on the complexity of the system. If you're talking about bigger systems like tanks, like M17 Soviet-era helicopters, those need to be disassembled at the Ukrainian border and trucked in by the Ukrainians, basically handed off between the West and the Ukrainians. So very much depends on the complexity of the system, how readily available it is, and how quickly the Ukrainians are able to come pick it up.
Is there a plan for sustaining and maintaining the weapons? Do they have spare parts sent to them along with the weapons, or what's the plan for that?
So as part of this request process, the Ukrainian liaisons that are attached to this unit in Stuttgart, Germany, are making requests for sustainment. And in addition, they can request through this app, this Craigslist-like app, more sustainment for these types of weapons. And it's also being baked into these training programs that we've seen for the M777 howitzers in Eastern Europe and other capabilities that are with the Ukrainians. But of course, the key caveat here is when talking to these officials, they admit that once things go over the border, they're somewhat blind. So you can do a lot of the sustainment work on one side of it, but if these weapons are going into the Donbass in the active fight, very difficult to track, and there are no tracking devices on these types of equipment that are going right into the field.
You know, I wanted to ask you about tracking, because I wonder if it's possible that, you know, these very sophisticated weapons could end up in the wrong hands.
That's certainly been a fear both on the American side and elsewhere, but just the gravity of the fight that the Ukrainians are facing in the Donbass right now. We've seen the Russians make significant gains in Luhansk province, basically trying to take over the major urban center there, Severodonetsk, and making significant progress. So the message from the Ukrainians has always been weapons, 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 ammo, 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 now, now, now. And it's very difficult for the West to reject now when you see the situation getting more dire, and the capability level is actually going up, of course, as we see the Pentagon now providing HIMARS, multiple launch rocket systems, for the first time. So it seems like the debate is only going to push Kiev to get more expensive, more outfitted kit, especially as the West looks to get them sort of to that NATO level of capability here.
All right, Jack, thanks very much for being on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future Government Matters interviews.